Good morning. It's Friday, April 10th. This is Emily Freitag with Instruction Partners. As the number of cases continues to rise, we are now at 17 states that are out for the balance of the school year, with a number of other states with recommended closure. Today, I want to talk to you about instructional models that we are seeing emerge, and then share some of the latest resources that we've just added to the Hub. We are seeing a number of different approaches to distance learning that we've now been able to give some names to. And the approaches that are emerging follow two key decision points. The first is the technology decision, which we've known from the beginning, either a digital, an analog, or a paper-based approach, or this hybrid in between. We've known that to be the key decision. What we're now layering on top, which is pointing in the direction of more complete instructional models, are concepts of synchronicity. Are students and teachers learning at the same time or learning at different times? And the model we have for live school is almost entirely synchronous. Other than homework or independent study, a lot of learning happens in class. So we are seeing some schools try to replicate synchronous learning, both digital synchronous or analog synchronous, but we're also seeing a growing number of schools move to more asynchronous learning, or pairing an asynchronous model with some synchronous touch points. So essentially, we're seeing 5 models emerge. Digital synchronous, which would be we are in an online class at the same time. Digital asynchronous would be I'm online and I'm studying stuff, but it's at whatever time works for me. So learn online independently. Hybrid, which could be a blend of a number of fronts, we're seeing typically some learn online together, matched with some learn offline or online independently. Analog synchronous would be I've got a work packet, but I'm talking to someone on the phone about it. Analog asynchronous would be a work packet I do on my own. And so these 5 models are starting to become clearer. And what's interesting is that each of the models requires a very different teacher role. And learning about what does a teacher role look like in an asynchronous model is something a lot of teachers are having to do very quickly. Overall, we don't know yet which of these works best. We are seeing that asynchronous models are much easier for families to manage than trying to replicate synchronous models, especially for families with multiple kids. But it feels like a hybrid option that allows for some independent work time, but some live touch points with teachers or peers is emerging as the most common approach. Across the models, of course, keep it simple, be aware of what families and students need. And it's important to let go of prior constructs. We've got a mental model of what school is that is really quite changed at this time. But it's also important to remember what we do know about instruction, and in particular, the interaction between content, teaching, and learning that is the crux of how we learn. It's also been interesting to watch some systems really think about who are the students who our distance learning models really matter to the most, and how do we design our model for those students and then leverage it for all. And so prioritizing those students and finding a model that works for them. I also want to share with you some things that have added to the Hub recently. We have added leadership toolkits that are aligned to the school hierarchy of needs. And this is essentially an expansion of what was the key actions document, which was among the more downloaded documents. So there are now leadership toolkits for every level. They're intended to be used by a system and a school leadership team working together through the key decisions, modeled after our curriculum support guide. The other thing I wanted to elevate is that we now have week 2 of the grab and go instructional materials up on the hub, ready to download. They can be used as they are, they can be adapted, or they can just be a mental model for what it can look like. You will see in week 2 that the aspirations grow slightly in line with the phases of the expected aspirations for student learning and culture. Finally, I just wanted to close by remembering that schools can and will be more important than ever during this time. We are reimagining school as a service, not a place, but resourceful educators are doing so much to support wellness and learning in new ways. And we know this is a stress test for leaders and is requiring powerful and innovative leadership at every level. You are doing a great job. Let us know if there's anything else that we can be learning on your behalf and sharing, and keep in touch and just keep at it one step at a time together.